Disclaimer: this podcast sometimes covers topics that may be offensive to some people, such as suicide, mental health, drug and alcohol use, and more. You have been warned.
Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome back to your Strength of Southwest podcast. I'm your co-host, Molly Heydrich.
And I'm your other co-host, Blake Alley.
Today, we have a very, very, very special guest with us. Our wonderful producer, our writer, most of all, our friend, Mr. Jack Newland.
Hi, I'm the guy that is in the disclaimer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's our disclaimer guy. He does literally everything for us. He makes Blake and I's job so easy.
Oh,
literally,
yeah.
all we have to do is just sit here and talk into this weird-looking microphone, and then Jack does the rest.
I see how it is. My microphone isn't good enough for you.
I mean, it's decent. You know,
Okay.
It's okay.
So
What are we talking about today?
Well,
how's your break?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that first.
Oh.
How was everyone's break?
You
Mine was
know,
good.
Yeah, mine was pretty good.
I got to see my great grandma.
Ooh, that was fun.
Yeah, I went to Illinois. Saw my aunt and uncle
Ooh,
as well.
where in Illinois?
Galesburg.
Ooh, that's fun. Did you go anywhere?
I did not go anywhere, but my family is a very big family, and we always do family reunions.
Oh, that's fun.
Around Christmas time. And I have a very large extended family. There are so many people.
Oh, boy.
But it was great. I love Christmas time. It is
Yeah.
my favorite time
It's
of
my
the
favorite
year.
time in the year.
So I had a great
Same.
time. Saw all of my siblings. Well, all except for one. But you know, had a great time. I loved it until I got sick. But you know, that's
happens.
neither here nor there.
So, what are you guys looking forward to in 2020 or this decade?
See, a lot of people have been talking about that, and
Yeah.
I feel like 2020 for everyone, like if you think about that whole decade, that's our entire future.
Yeah.
And you know, that brings us into the topic for today, which is the future.
Boom.
So
Good segue.
yeah.
I tried really hard on that one.
So I feel like it's I've noticed a lot that, especially sophomores now, I feel like by teachers and by just parents and everything, I think
Yeah.
they're getting that question dropped on them more than usual. Like, where do you want to go to college? What are you planning to do with your life? Those
What
kind
does
of
your
questions.
future look like?
Over
And I
break,
know-
over break when I went to Galesburg, I was talking with my family, my aunt and uncle, my great grandma, my parents. We were just like, Jack, where do you want to go to college? And I'm like, well, I want to do stuff in film. And my aunt is she lives in New York. She's telling me, oh, this like Columbia University, NYU,
Yeah.
pretty good. But I've heard other things about colleges in New York.
Yeah.
I have honestly no idea where I want to go to college.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, you know, like, I'm 15, you know? Like, obviously, my life is a little different from probably your guys's because I do play a sport.
Yeah.
Because I do want to go
I play sports.
Well,
Ouch.
well, because I want to go play that sport in college. Do you want to play a sport in college?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, I love you, Jack. So, because I want to go play a sport in college, I've been focusing on where I want to go, what I want to do for probably the past 2 years. So, for me and for other athletes that are just like really into that and really just kind of in their recruiting process right now, like, I guess to me, like, the future isn't something that's like a new topic as to like, you know, some other sophomores that are just like, well, regular students who don't play a sport, who don't want to go do that sport in college. But for me, I've been looking at colleges for the past 2 years. I know exactly what I want to do. I have ideas of where I want to go. I know how I want to do it. And so for me, my future's kind of been mapped out for a while. Yeah. Obviously, like, one thing I will say is that your future is going to change.
Oh, yeah.
At some point. Like, for me, I am kind of just, I've been struggling with a lot of injuries, just like throughout my athletic career, like any athlete does.
Yes.
And obviously that kind of throws a wrench in your plans. But for me, just life is a long time, and you have so much time to do what you want to do, and you can't let something that's insignificant in the long run ruin your future.
So I can definitely speak to the fact that your future changes.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, I've known that I'm an extremely creative person.
Yeah.
I'm always in my own head. I'm always thinking about stories or all this different kinds of things. So I've always wanted to be like a director, you know. I've always wanted to like make movies or star in movies, you know. And I feel like a lot of people today with kind of the media we have are like kind of want to be famous. That's just
for
kind of
sure.
the dream, you know.
So
and
easy now to just
it's
become famous.
very
Yeah.
easy now, but you know, like you start looking at those options, and I started looking at colleges back in like 8th grade
Yeah.
or something. I was just looking at film schools and all this stuff, but really as I got into high school through my freshman year and through this first half of my sophomore year, I've really just been experimenting. And
Yeah.
that's really what high school is all about.
For sure.
To experiment and to try out things and to see how you like them. And when I really go through like theater and film, I'm just not as interested as I thought I was, you know? And I've really found myself getting more and more interested in like psychology, you
Yeah.
know, the study of the mind. And I've always been empathetic. I've always like tried to like think about how people feel and all that stuff, and to help people like
Yeah.
as being a therapist would be, I mean, it's just kind of the dream for me, and my dreams have changed, you know.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's what high school is all about, and it's about changing. I think this is a really good segment to talk about, especially with having Jack here, because we have all these three very different aspects of what our college lives would look like, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
Mine's a lot more traditional, you know, with schooling and that kind of stuff. Yours more, you know, sport focused, which a lot of people look at,
Yeah,
you know.
for
And
sure.
Jack's more, you know, that kind of arts, you know, with
Creative
like,
side.
creative style.
Yeah, for
you know?
sure.
Yeah, definitely for how future can change. I've kind of kept ever since like 7th or 8th grade. I've just been kind of in this weird limbo of stuff that I wanted to do. Like I like doing some of these sports, but I don't know if that's what I want to do. I like some of these like science, mathematics, and this whole like engineering, building type of stuff. But again, I don't know if that's what I want to do. I really like this acting thing, and it's a lot of fun. Maybe I want to do that. And
Yeah.
so I've looked at acting for the most part, or just like in the whole film, theater, all that type of stuff. And I found that when it comes to stuff like I really like to write stories. I like to create stories and make things up for people to enjoy.
Yeah.
And so I really want to go into something like writing. I don't know, maybe writing a book or just short stories could be fun, but I would really love to make like movies and
Yeah.
screenplays and just regular plays and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to do directing. I'm not necessarily interested in the whole fame aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm just really interested in the like
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care if people know who I am based on what movie I was in, or like if I was in the biggest blockbuster of the summer. I just really want to be able to help bring these big blockbuster movies, or these big just movies in general that everyone loves and that people adore. I just want to help bring that, give that joy to people, and be the like harbor, the creator of this whole entertainment for bunches of people, even if it means people don't realize that
You're the
people-
one
that
doing
I'm
it.
the one doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like a very, very common misconception, especially in high school, is that you do not have to have your future all planned out. You know, like obviously like there are aspects of my future that I'm totally certain about. Like I'm totally certain that I want to be some sort of doctor and I want to be in the medical field, and I'm totally certain that I want to play softball in college. But at the same time,
Still
like
not completely certain.
yeah, like that could change at any moment, you know? Like I could wake up one day and decide, hey, maybe this isn't something that I want to do. You know, I hate to say it, but I could have something that takes me out of the game. I could have something that maybe in the long run is just a better choice for me. And I think like the reality of it is a lot of people go into college with an undecided major.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go into college knowing that this is what I want to do, because people don't know what they want to do. So you take general studies classes, or maybe you're in your sophomore year and you decide to change your major right away. You know, like, your future does not have to be planned out at all times, because there are always going to be events and things that pop up that will influence your decisions.
There's a story I have about that. My dad, Councilmember Chris Newland, Ward
Shout
6,
out.
Guy responsible for all this traffic problem.
Oh, yeah, seriously. Let's talk about that.
later. But so he told me of the story how when he got to college, or when he was in high school, he loves baseball. He loves it so much. He coaches my little brother, and when he was in high school, he loved baseball. He became really good at it. He focused really hard. He put all of his energy, time, all of it into doing baseball. And he went to school, and he really wanted to just end up doing something with like baseball, like if it was major leagues or just I don't know, coaching, whatever, all that kind of
managing
stuff. And that ended up that didn't turn out the way he wanted.
Yeah.
He ended up becoming a salesman and a council member, a politician.
Yeah.
And he really enjoys the stuff that he does now. He says, I would have loved to be in the MLB, but I absolutely love what I'm doing right now. I love having all this interaction with people. I love what I'm doing. It's just great. And so it just goes to show that your future can change depending on how you feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Something I would like to say, our teacher, Mr. Schmidt, the theater teacher,
Shout out, Dan Schmidt.
Yes, shout out. He said this to us multiple times, and I think this is something great that everyone needs to think about. Ask yourself in your mind what is successful, right? Because I feel like society always paints this idea of what is successful. You need to ask yourself what is successful. For me, if I was working like in an office on a 9-to-5 job and I made a bunch of money, society might consider me successful, right? I would not consider myself successful.
Exactly.
Because that kind of environment is just the kind of environment I don't like, you know? But like being like a small-time therapist, you know, maybe not making that much money, but still like helping people, that's successful to me. You know, I think it's important to ask yourself what is successful to you, and this can portray to really anything you want to do. You know, anything and everything, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the one thing I do want to touch on while we're talking about the future and just plans is just like dreams. You know, like there are so many little kids out there who have a dream. You know, like we all have a dream of doing something. You know, like my brother right now wants to go play in the NFL and the MLB at the same time. Granted, he is 8 years old, but he has a dream, you know? And at the same time, like, do anything you can to reach your dream, even if people tell you it's impossible, even if people tell you that you're never going to get there because you're not good enough, or it's outside of your comfort zone, or it's outside of society's norms, quote unquote. Like, follow your dreams and don't let anybody tell you what your dreams are.
I can speak to that because some people in my family, they have a dream that, you know, they've loved doing this thing. They've loved doing this thing their whole life, right? But the people around them always tell that person that they can't. They can't do that because it's not going to be a stable lifestyle, right? But I respect a person more if they're chasing their dreams to do something than giving up on them and just settling. You know, I don't think you should just settle. I think you should trace your dreams.
The small amount of instability is exciting. Just like just going from what I know a bit of the acting world, from people that I know that are in this world, they say like you're gonna have like just a job to pay those bills like a wait staff or working at a Target or something, just to pay those bills in between your jobs, shows and stuff. And it's gonna be a big challenge because it is a big challenge. It's a dog eat dog world out there, and it's just. But the challenge of it, the thought of being, hey, I'm gonna work as hard as I can. I'm gonna go to these auditions. I'm gonna go submit my films, my stories to these people, and I put my heart and soul into this. I worked as hard as I could, and it may not work out then and there. Maybe, and then you try again, but one day you will get it. Yeah, if you keep persevering, you keep trying to climb those steps of your dream, you're gonna eventually reach it. And it's going to happen if you're truly passionate and you truly care about this. If this is what you want to come out of your life, if this is what you want to be, what you find your idea of success, if this is how you find your idea of success, then you go pursue it as much as possible. Yeah. It may be challenging, it may be difficult. People will disagree with you. People will say that you can't do it, but you should still go do it if that's what you believe success is.
Definitely agree. I keep a bunch of quotes in my notes app on my phone that I just think like really speak to me, or they're funny, or they kind of relate to my life in some way. And one quote that my dad told me, shout out to my dad, Jay, love you the most. He told me that failing to reach your dream is better than never dreaming at all. And I think that is so true. Because I think, like, what a lot of people talk about in terms of the future is regrets. And, you know, like, one day if you have this amazing dream to be an actor or to be a director or to be a therapist, you know, like, whatever any of us want to do, and you just throw it out the window and say that's never going to happen, like, what are you doing? You know, like, go get your dream. Like, try your best to make it work. Because if not, you're going to regret never trying it all. You know, like, one of my biggest things is, like, I will never regret trying my best to reach my dream in something that I want to do.
I'm not much of a sports guy, but
same.
Yeah, nowhere near it. But I know that my history teacher the other day, he was talking about the quarterback for the Patriots, right? And how this guy is like, what, almost 44 years old? Yeah. And he's still in it.
He's getting it.
That's a lot of brain damage.
I feel like, yeah, but I just feel like that's kind of inspirational. You know, no matter where you're at, it's basically unheard of for someone his age to be like winning a Super Bowl. Yeah, you know,
it's his dream.
It's his dream, and he's chasing that dream until he really can't chase it anymore. And I think that's inspiring. Yeah. And I think all of us could learn something from that.
For sure.
Definitely.
So, moral of this episode: the future does not have to be planned out right now. Obviously, you have a lot of time. If you're not sure what you want to do in life, then you're going to figure it out, and it may take you a little longer than other people, but there's no timeline for life, which is a big thing for me. And go get your dream. Try your best not to live with any regrets. So thank you, Jack, for coming on to us today.
Something I'd like to add before we head out. Like just a couple quick tips, right? Yeah. For like preparing for basically for like some tips, right? You're like talk to someone, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Talk to a parent, talk to a sibling who's been through college, if you are wanting to get into sports, talk to your coach about like colleges and stuff like that. Like, I'm looking at being a therapist and what I need to do with that. I'm looking at talking to my therapist about what she did.
Yeah.
And how she went through the whole process. And it's important to really, get information from those people who can help you. Just wanted to add
There's
that.
always people that can help you.
Yeah.
So, and those of us at Sources of Strength would be happy to help you as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, as always, y'all, social medias, our Instagram is BVSW_strength. Our TikTok is the same thing. Our Twitter, which me and Jack run, is at SourcesSW. You should totally go give it a follow. We post all of our updates of our podcast on there.
It's livid.
Thanks for living. Rid of the words. Thanks for listening to us, guys. We will see you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah,
Bye.
We're gonna be back on the regular schedule. And then we're gonna end it that way because that sounds boring and it's funny.